What's going on, guys? This is Tun from 12 Mods. Yeah, it's another video, and yep, it's another Chevy body, and yep, it's another TRX4. But this time, it's my second TRX4, and yes, it's not a crew cab, and yes, this one's going to be actually running soon. Now, you might be saying, okay, wait, didn't I see you have a crew cab? Yes, I do. It's right there. And yes, there's another Chevy new bright body. There's two of them here. So I have a total of four if you think about it technically. What happened was I decided that I wanted to build a second crew cab truck. Now the second crew cab truck is not going to be a lifted scale truck like this one here, this TRX4. It's actually going to be a slammed, pretty much body dropped crew cab. So this one's going to be on the ground and that one's going to be lifted. Now the concept for this is actually both of them are going to be pretty much looking exactly the same, except for that's lifted and this one's slammed. Now this one's going to have big custom wheels done to it, and this one's going to have custom wheels done to it too, but the rims are going to look exactly the same, just different sizes. So this one's going to have like more of like an off-road tread, and this one's going to have a street tread. This one's going to have actual functional working suspension that'll make it lift up and down and whatever, where this one is just going to be just a lifted truck with a full custom interior. This one is not going to get an interior. Main reason because of all the components and mechanisms and everything else I am going to be putting into this truck, because the box area I'm going to have it open up and you're going to actually see all the suspension work and everything else, and all the actuators. Well, I don't know if you're going to see the actuators, but like all the linkages and everything to make the truck lift up and down, just like a real truck, how they show off the suspension work. It's going to be the same concept. This one's going to have a bunch of crazy lights. This one's going to have a bunch of crazy lights too. So yeah, Project Crew Cab is now going to be two of them. So this one's Project Crew Cab, and this is Project Bagger number 2. The reason why it's called Project Bagger number 2 is because years ago I built another bagger truck, RC bagger truck. It's on my YouTube. You can actually check it out there. And I used a Chevy Silverado crew cab body, but it was a Lexan body. So same body style and everything else, except for it was a crew cab and it was the Pro Line body. I can't remember what model it is now, but I no longer have that truck and I really miss that truck. So I was like, you know what? Why not build another one with a hard body, but this time way better than last time. So if you want to check out Project Bagger, go check it out in my YouTube. You'll see a bunch of videos there, how it was working and everything else. So I will have another update video on these guys later. So back to this. So because I was going to build a second crew cab body, I had two of these bodies, but as you can see, it's a complete body, like both of them are. So I found a guy that actually has just a beat up cab, but the front end's been damaged and everything, and all I needed was this section of the body of the cab, pretty much. And the section that he has is all in good shape, except for it has a couple holes in it. So he needed a couple parts for his Chevy body that I had extra, so like lenses. I already sent him a grill and that kind of stuff, and he needed the glass. So I actually have an extra glass, and I actually have the lenses and everything. So I'm sending him that, and he's going to send me that cab that he has. So I'm going to cut that cab up with that body and build the other crew cab. So because of that, I have this body. It's complete. Well, if you guys can tell, all my scale trucks and even all my project trucks that I'm still working on are all hard body. I don't run Lexan, so I'm surprised that this TRX4 ran a Lexan body for the longest time. I don't know. I like scale look, so I build these trucks not to just beat the crap out of them, but I do use them, but everything. But I like to make them so they look scale. So I was like, you know what? Let's put this body on this TRX4. Now, as you can see, the wheelbase is to this body now. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the TRX4 is really long compared to this now. Here's the stock body. And you can tell, like, it's much different. The length is hugely different. I think it was like almost 2 inches I had to remove from the links. But there's temporary links in here now. These are the stock links. I gotta give them to my buddy so he can cut them down and rethread them for me to the proper length. So I just gotta hand him these links here that are in the truck right now to make these the same length and everything else. So then they'll be back to the stock links, but you'll see what I'm talking about when I pull the body off. So further things I am going to be doing with this truck is I have 100 mil shocks on it, and they're at full droop setup right now. I'm removing those and going to a shorter shock because I don't need that much travel, and right now they're fully drooped out. Like, I have no suspension right now unless I lift it up, and then, you know, look at, like, they're totally drooped out. I can't run it like that. And so I'm probably going to go back to the stock traxxas shocks maybe, or I might find another shock. I might even order another set of these Eagle Racing shocks. These are 100 mils that I'm using on Project Crew Cab. I can get these in different sizes. I just need to find out if I can get different springs for these, because the springs that are on these right now are really stiff, and I like to run my trucks with a droop setup, so there's so I need a lot softer spring. So I got to look out for that. Now the rear the rear of this truck was a lot of work. I did not want to change any of the geometry in the front of the truck because of the steering and everything else and how the driveline was at. So everything that was modified was pretty much in the rear, but I'll show you what I modified. So as you can see, there's the shocks with the new shock towers and everything else. This is not complete yet. This is still in their mock-up. I don't even have the body mounted yet, but the body will be mounted with earth magnets. So I'm just waiting for those magnets to come in. So pop the body off. First thing I did was I flipped the shock tower mount around. So this shock tower used to sit back here, but because of the body, it hits part of the cab where I actually had to modify it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about on the body. So on this body, there's this ledge right here, and the body post was actually hitting that ledge, and because of it, it pushed the body back too far, and it wouldn't line up with the tires. So I actually had to flip it to make it actually fit. So I flipped it, and the thing I had to do with it, if you actually look, is I actually had to grind down the mount a little bit to clear the actual servo. And then I just ground the top of the body posts, like the little posts. I just grounded those right off because I'm going to glue the magnets onto this. So this actually sits against that ledge and actually sits perfectly aligned with the tire in the wheel well of the body. So that worked out perfect. And then the rear, I had totally removed the shock towers and everything else because it didn't let the shock line up straight up. So what I used was I actually had these shock extensions kicking around that are used for the SEX10. So you can screw those on to extend the shock position or whatever, or move it around. So I had those, so I used them, and I screwed it into the furthest hole closest to the center of the chassis. I still got to drill a hole and put a nut and bolt on both sides here and here. And then I put a brace, 2 braces in between it to fit it, as you can see. So just to brace it. And then I just put a spacer here. There's a spacer and a nut right now, but I'm actually going to make some aluminum spacers for it to space the shock out. And same at the bottom, I got to make a spacer to space the shock out too, because it's kind of on a slight angle and I need to fix that. Now the other thing I had to do, major thing I had to do, was, if you actually look at the back of the frame, I actually had to cut it, as you can see. So I had to actually cut a good chunk out of the chassis. So that's the piece that I cut out. And then the rear bumper brace, I had to remove that too, because it stuck out way too far. So this rests right on the back of the lip of the box where the bumper is. So just right in here. So it just rests right against the back of the body there, so it fits perfectly in there. I still got to build the floor for the box and that, but that's in due time. So those are the modifications I had to do up top. Now down at the bottom, as you can see, I had to shorten the links. Now all 4 links on the Traxxas TRX4 are the same length in the rear. All 4 of them. Now, this is how far I had to cut and shorten. Like, look at how much that is. Oh, 2 inches almost? Maybe around 2 inches, yeah. So, yeah, that's how short it is. So, these are just temporary. I just did it for mock-up and everything. I'm just going to hand my buddy these. And then he's going to cut these down and rethread them for me later on, after I finish doing all the testing and everything else. Now, the other thing I got to do is actually seize the stock drive shaft. I do got to cut it down and make it all short and everything to fit this and clean it all up. Now, the one modification I am going to do is I'm actually going to put springs inside of the sleeves on both ends, so the center piece that sits in there will float in the center and never come all the way to one side. And this way it will never pop out, or it'll give it the most strength. So I just got to do that. So later on I will do that. And then other than that, I got to cut these here. So as you can see, it's hitting the tire because of how far forward I had to move it. So I got to trim this to clear. So I got to do it on both sides. So once I do that, yeah, the body will fit and everything else, and there we go. And then I'll just slowly start adding stuff to it. But this is going to be the permanent body for this truck. It took a lot of time to figure out this, so there's no point in me changing bodies now. If I want to build another TRX4, I'll just buy another TRX4, to be honest with you. These trucks are awesome and everything else, and I do have another project that I want to get, and it's actually a particular body I want to get, and that body fits perfectly on a TRX4, so I might wind up buying another TRX4. So yeah, I might have 3 TRX4s by the time this other project comes in, but that's down the road. So now just to let you guys know, the cable, it is longer now, but it still works. So there's no worries there. You can just mount it stock and it will still work. Didn't have a problem. I hooked it up and it locked and unlocked still, and everything else perfectly fine. So yeah, so that's how I shortened it. Hope you guys like what I did. If you have any questions or anything else, hit me up. If you guys want some more information on some other things, or if you guys want to see pictures of everything on this one or Project Bagger, check out my Facebook page, 12 Volt Mods. So it's Facebook /12 Volt Mods. So check it out. I'll be posting pictures. I post pictures there all the time and everything else. So hope you guys like what you see. And yeah, like I said, if there's anything else that you guys want to know or anything like that, hit me up and let me know. All right, thanks guys.